it's April, and today I'm going to talk to you about wrist, how to prevent and alleviate wrist pain. We'll also include some finger work in there. I also want to point out or give a shout out to Loony Legs for these fabulous fun leggings that make every pose look better. Why do we even care about wrist warm-ups? Well, I have to tell you, as a yoga instructor, one of the most common things I hear are complaints from people after their yoga practice is that their wrists hurt. Also, as a handstander, I will have to say that's one of the most common complaints of people who start handstanding is that their wrists hurt. So I like to talk about the warm-ups, some of the things we can do, and proper hand placement. And all those things can help prevent and alleviate your wrist pain. So you could do your wrist warm-up standing or seated, these first ones that we're going to do. I like to start off seated, and I'm going to sit with my legs crossed. Be sure you're comfortable. So again, you could sit on a pillow, sit on a block, sit back on your heels. That's totally up to you. I like sitting with my legs crossed sometimes because it's a little bit of a hip opener. Okay, so now we're on to hands and wrists. So think about, this is all connected, your fingers, your hands, your wrist. So we want to warm up all of them. So I like to start with what I call jazz hands. And by that I mean reaching your hands out, spreading your fingers, like when people are dancing and they're doing their jazz hands. So really extending through those fingertips. Now you don't have to do movement like I am because it's not a dance routine, but it is a nice little warm up, wake up for your fingers, your hands, fingertips, the whole thing. It's all connected and you're working your wrists a little bit. So you might want to bend your wrists a little bit, bend them back a little bit while you're spreading your fingers. And just do that a few times just to wake things up and warm things up. Second thing you want to do are some wrist rolls. And that's exactly what it sounds like. You are rolling your wrist. So you want to roll in one direction for a few seconds and then roll in the opposite direction. And a lot of times I'll do it one direction then the other, and I'll do it a couple times. Just so you're warming things up. This is your hands and your wrists, getting everything ready for whatever yoga you're going to be doing. Another warm-up I like to do are just finger stretches. And that is taking your hand, turning it away from you, and pulling gently, not pulling too hard, on each finger and giving them a little bit of a stretch. And this just is, it's a nice little warm-up, kind of wakes up your fingers and your joints. I'm not popping and crackling them or anything like that. I'm just gently pulling. It feels good actually to do this. So one of the most important things you can do to help prevent wrist pain is to have proper hand placement. So I want you to think about your hand, look at your hand, and think about where you should be pressing into your hand. So you should be pressing into your fingertips at the bottom of the pinky and the index finger, between the index finger and the thumb, and below the thumb. Those are the areas that you should be thinking about when you're pressing into your hand. Let me do that one more time. So aside from the warm-ups, in my opinion, the most important thing you should be doing is thinking about your hand placement. So if you pick up your hand and look at it, I want you to look at the parts that you should be pressing into. And that is your fingertips, the bottom of the pinky and the index finger, below the thumb, and in that area between your index finger and your thumb. That's where you should be pressing. Where you should not be pressing is this area right here. And you should also think about the center of your hand as being like a suction cup. So let's put that into practice. So I'm going to turn to the side, and I want you to place your hands on the floor and then think about what I was just talking about, your hand placement. So your fingers are spread. I bend my fingers so that makes sure I am actively pressing into my fingertips. You may notice if you look at handstanders, most of the time their fingers are bent a little bit. And it's not a requirement that you have your fingers bent, but that helps you really activate in your mind and in your fingers that you should be pressing into the tips rather than into your wrist. So, and I'm thinking about lifting that, it's isometric really, that you're lifting that middle part, making it like a suction cup, and press down in that area between your index finger and your thumb. So this takes a little practice. It doesn't happen automatically. You have to keep practicing and thinking about it. But once you get it, you won't have to think about it anymore. It will just happen when you start putting your hands on the floor. Now that you've got that proper hand placement, let's do some more warm-ups with our hands on the floor. So just coming into a table, and again, I want you to think about your hands, think about your fingertips, think about pressing down in that area between index finger and thumb. And we're just going to shift some weight forward and back and forward and back. Again, you shouldn't be collapsing into your wrist. You're bringing weight into your fingertips. And then turn your hands so your fingertips are pointing toward each other. And we're just going to do the same thing, shifting side to side. And then turn your hands out. And we'll do that again, shifting side to side. So again, you're just warming things up, improving your flexibility here. And then turn your hands toward you. This might be a little more difficult for you. It is for me. Shifting weight forward and back and forward and back. And it's just really getting that nice stretch and nice warm up. So another one that may be a little more difficult for you, and it is for me sometimes, is to bring the backs of your hands to the mat. And then, so I've got my hand, I'm lifting my hips up. And I'm going to shift back and forth and back and forth. You will feel this, and it's not painful. It shouldn't be painful. If it is painful, don't do it. But this is just a very different warm-up than probably what you're used to. I use this one a lot during my handstands. If I do start feeling fatigued, I will come into this wrist warm-up. So to come out, you'll slowly roll your way back. Fingertips come up last. And then it might feel good to do some of those jazz hands again. Maybe do some wrist rolls. And you will be all ready for your practice. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the Loony Legs YouTube channel so you don't miss the next episode. And of course, you can follow me, Handstanding Grandma, for even more fun. See you soon.